Alright, so we're blessed to see another week of What Makes You Happy, and this time I get to sit down with Matt Kariath. The episode is already long enough, but just a little preview. He's currently taking a Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology and Health Sciences at St.FX. He was an Aberhart Jr Boys football champion in 2015, an Aberhart Sr Boys football champion in 2017, and he was a member of the St.FX football team from 2018 to 2021. But the largest contribution Matt has given to society is that he is a barber at MK Cuts on Instagram. Matt and we got really close after playing a season of junior boys basketball together, and then his Valley Creek gang plus Cale and Evan accepted me into their fold with open arms in grade 11. So Matt, thank you, brother, for Cale, Evan, and I, for taking the time to sit down and share your wisdom with me and the world. And for those of you listening, I hope you enjoy this episode of What Makes You Happy. Your boy was struggling. So, my goal this week, as I sit here with Matt, is to surprise him. I've been trying, there's these people I've been watching, like the interviewer on Hot Ones. This guy, every single time he talks to people, he gets a reaction out of them where he's like, how do you know that? Like, who are you talking to?
Like Nardwar, yeah.
Yeah, bro. So that's the goal. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, fuck it, man. We do these 1 week at a time. Try and get better. How's it going, Matt? What's up?
Not too bad, man. Back in Nova Scotia, last semester, university. Kind of crazy, man.
Yeah.
So weird how time flies, man.
Did you take 4 or 5?
4.
4? That's crazy. So, playing football full-time, managing to graduate in
3 years.
4 years is impressive.
Yeah, man. It was a weird time, especially because I didn't play football this past year.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to take a break from it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so weird, like, changing from being a student athlete, being so busy all the time. Like, we would practice, 5 hours a day for, 4 days a week, and then game time on the weekends. So it was kind of weird because I felt really rushed all the time, but then having not to do football this last semester was, a big, ease off my shoulders.
Yeah.
Kind of just, I don't know, could actually focus on things that were more important that could, help me in the future.
Right.
Also, just, I don't know, I wanted to enjoy. I didn't hang out with people that much when I was playing sports because I was so busy all the time. So it was nice to actually get, time to spend with people that I probably won't see for a while after this. But, yeah, it was pretty nice like that.
Okay. So, in that last semester, when you were meeting the people, it's Antigonish? How do I pronounce it?
Antigonish, yeah.
Word, let's go. The people that you met in Antigonish versus the people that you knew when you were growing up in Calgary, did you see, there was a big shift there?
Yeah, definitely. Well, honestly, here, it's, everyone who goes to school is probably from Ottawa or Halifax. And there's actually a decent amount of people from Calgary as well, but they're all kind of scattered around. I don't really know any of them.
Right.
But, yeah, some people from our high school actually come, go here. I remember. But yeah. I find, people from Halifax themselves, or, Nova Scotia, I guess, are a lot friendlier.
Yeah.
Even just, if you don't know them, they're friendlier. So
okay.
It's, they're more open, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of nice.
It seems because when I was living in Camrose, there's 18,000 people, fam. And,
Yeah. Bro, we have 5,000 here.
Exactly.
Tiny.
You're playing sports, you're studying, or you're partying. That's basically all there is to do. And, it's not it's not fun. But it seems like you might be interested in some other things.
It's very limited, yeah. There's, a limitation to what you could do. It's, there's the one... Even when you want to party, it's, you go to a house party for a bit, then you go to, the one bar in town.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of just the same thing over and over. It's yeah, okay, I'm kind of sick of this. Let me try and find something else that I can do. But it's kind of tough around here.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's always wet out here. It's it'll snow and then it'll rain, so it's just slushy everywhere.
That's not good. And is it cold enough that it turns to ice?
Not usually, but I think we're past that now. But December's usually the worst.
That's crazy. At least your winter's only a month long, going from 6 months to one. That's crazy.
But it's never like, it's always just so humid. Even when it's hot here, it's like, it's a uncomfortable hot sometimes, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like back home, remember you're outside and it's hot, it's like not too bad. That's when you feel the heat. But here I'll be like in my room and it's just like damp.
Yeah.
It's just so humid and like my covers are all like gross. I don't know. It's just damp.
Oh, all right. So, just a little background on Matt and I. We met in 2015 at Aberhart, but from what I've gotten written down, Matt was at Tom Baines.
I was at Valley Creek for like 4 to 7 or 4 to 8, and then I went to Tom Baines for 1 year in grade 9.
Okay, and then you came to Aberhart in grade 10.
Yeah.
Right. So Matt and I, we were on the Junior Boys basketball team together in grade 10.
Yeah.
And that was a wild year, fam.
That was
like there were some characters on that team. You were a basketball player when I met you in high school, but you've been a football player and a basketball player your whole life. So have sports just been a focus?
Yeah, pretty much. Like even before that, I played soccer. Like I started soccer when I was like in grade 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I played competitively until like grade 7. But I would play basketball. I started basketball pretty young too, around like grade 4 or 5. And I played that up until grade 10. But then I started football once I ended soccer. Because they were in the same time. So,
right.
Yeah, honestly, I miss basketball a lot. I'll honestly still say it's my favorite sport no matter what. But
that's fair.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, man.
It is, man.
Going to your guys' football games was an event, and those, like, they were one of the most enjoyable parts about high school, but it's not like you can take that and do it at lunchtime. The stuff that we did in the gym at lunch for basketball was insane.
Having like 8-on-8 games, half court, like we're just absolute madness. Like
exactly.
Yeah, even just like if you're by yourself, you can't really do anything with football. You can like go run and stuff. That's like working out. There's nothing like
enjoyable.
Like it's enjoyable, like depending on who you are. Like I like it sometimes, but I don't want to do that I can't do that every day for like an hour. It's not that like I won't find it fun anymore, you know.
You can't like casually.
Exactly. It's nothing like casual football really, like to yourself, at least. Even just like I don't know. Once I find most people who want to do football related like activities are all football players, and it always gets intense too. So it's like especially out here.
I don't know, like, the demographic, what Calgary youth football was like, and then, I mean, coming from that, going to the East Coast, are the type of people that you're playing football with very different types of people than before?
I find here we definitely recruit a lot from Nova Scotia.
Right.
So, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe them, but they're kind of like easygoing people, so, like, that's a big part of it. We also get a decent amount from Ontario. Not many from out west, but yeah, I guess out west it's like also like football's not as big of a like it's not everyone's priority when we're young.
Right.
But like here, a lot of people some people are just in school to play sports a lot of the time. So it's like football's their whole life. So even just the culture around the game is a lot different. So it's like people actually care a bit more. And then yeah, like because a lot of people will be playing multiple sports when they're kids, so they wouldn't even commit to everything all the time, and it's like. I don't know, you wouldn't build as many relationships with them, I guess, because you only see them, like, during the nights, like, 3-4 times a week, and then, but, like, here, like, we go through training camp, which is, like, dude, like, I swear, we spent 14 hours in a day, football-wise, like, for 2 weeks. It's, like, you build a different type of, like, friendship with those guys. It's really different. Like, it's like you go through hell to each other just for it to be worth it in the end, hopefully.
Right.
But, yeah.
And that's the risk everybody's willing to take.
Yeah. So I find the people are pretty similar everywhere you go, like football-wise, though. Like, yeah.
The only other thing that I want to touch on before we get into this is you took a trip to the Taj Mahal at some point, as well as a trip to Guatemala. So I would like to know what both of them were like, but what was it like seeing one of the 7 wonders of the world?
Damn, like the Taj for me, it's like I'm from South India, so I don't know. Like we always have this thing saying like
I hate North Indians. Like
I don't actually, but like I don't know. I just
say like they're soft, whatever. Like their food's bland. Like
okay.
So like I don't know. Growing up, it was never like something crazy to me, but I guess I never really took it in. Like as I got older, I realized like I look more on history now and stuff, and just like it's actually crazy. Like even that you're saying it now, I feel like I didn't take it in as much as I really should have. I was just like, oh, it's the Taj Mahal, like, nice. I'm Indian, this is like nothing, but like,
Right.
then I kind of realized more. I was like, oh wow, this is like the history behind it is so crazy. Like, it's a tomb for this guy's wife, like, which I find ridiculous, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, insane. Like when I was there, like, just I forget everything, but there's just so many people who are like tour guides and stuff. They have so much like knowledge on everything that just happened there, and it just kind of like blows your mind. I kind of wish I like listened to him more, because I was just like, oh, it's too hot. I want to go home. I'm tired. Like, this is like when we went there, it was like the end of like a month-long trip.
Right.
And like, yeah, I was just sick of it by then. But
No, that's insane. I was gonna say, bro, I'm not that surprised. When you're down bad, you're down bad. If that means you're building like a monument that'll live forever for a female, then that's what you gotta do, bro.
I don't know if that could be me, bro. I can never.
Fair enough. Okay, so when it comes to your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health, Matt, what makes you happy?
For me, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Like, I've been having a lot of like philosophical thoughts lately. I don't know. Just especially when I'm home, I'm just like, I was bored this whole time. I didn't really see anyone, so I was just kind of just thinking about stuff, and I was like looking at a lot of like videos on happiness and stuff. And I saw this one like Will Smith interview. He was like, happiness isn't just finding all these little pleasures, it's having peace.
Right.
Which I found like growing up, I always think happiness is like having things that like make you happy in the moment type of thing.
Right.
So like at the time, for like me, even still, like I find that does hold value, but I find like when I heard that, like having peace, like just I'm not worried about anything, that's kind of like the biggest like happiness to me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like being so busy all the time, it's been kind of hard to like find that peace. So like lately I've been meditating a little bit, trying to at least, because I find like when I'm so busy throughout the course of a day with like school, football, and I have to cut hair, like I just need to like focus on one thing for a sec, just kind of like reset my brain and just kind of like
Right.
think about what I have to do, and just like make more of a plan about it, kind of think more like calmly and objectively, because I find my emotions really take the best of me most days when I'm like thinking throughout the day, because I'm just not like thinking about things clearly, just like in a rush to think from one thing to the next. It's just kind of hard to like actually think, how can I do this effectively? How can it like not stress me out, you know?
So I was just going to say, is the meditation, like, is it a full meditation practice, or?
No, not really, because I'm kind of just like, I don't have like that much time, or I guess I'm just not like that into it yet, but I'm trying to read onto it more. But I don't know, it'll be like 10-15 minutes. I'll just take my room, just sit down and like think about like, literally just focus on like an object in my room,
Mm-hmm.
and just like think about the parts of it, just so I can just literally just clear my mind of everything else that's going on, kind of just like reset myself quickly.
Right.
So it's kind of, that's been helpful a bit, but I find it hard to kind of like try and keep that like mindset throughout the day when
Mm-hmm.
everything just keeps piling on and on.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that you find this is something that's more helpful for you to have done halfway through the day as opposed to at the end of the day? Because you've made it seem like it's more important the refocusing as opposed to just the quiet.
Yeah, sometimes for me it would be even just like maybe I won't meditate at night. Maybe I'll have a rough day the day before, but in the morning I'll wake up the next day and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I can like start. Because sometimes I'll wake up pretty stressed already. I'm like, oh, I wake up, I'm like, damn, what do I gotta do? Because I have like a board in my room telling me like what I have to do for the day.
Right.
So then I'll see that, because I put it like close to me so I can see what I have to do. And I'll kind of like wake up stressed, like, okay, I have to do that. So then I'll kind of like take a couple minutes before I like get up and actually like start the day, so I can kind of like start on like the right path, you know?
Yeah. Matt has already made it clear he was and is still an athlete, but he also cuts hair. And this started in the locker room in high school and has grown.
Technically, it didn't start in the locker room. I started cutting hair because my dad would cut my hair growing up, and it would just be like a 4 guard on the side and 8 on top. And that was kind of it. Like maybe a couple of scissor marks in the front, so it's not just like a straight bowl. But
Right.
yeah, so I started cutting my hair like that, and I was pretty trash at it. I don't know if some people saw pictures of me from grade 10, which I kind of deleted off mine. I pretty much just had a strip of hair going down with like a 0 to like a 0.5 fade. It was terrible. Like, yeah, but like, yeah. Then I started like getting some people to let me cut their hair. Like Nathan let me cut his hair one time. Oh, I messed that up really bad, but I don't know. It's a hard thing because you're like controlling how people look for a while.
Exactly.
So like they're very picky on it, and I'm like, dude, I'm literally learning. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like help me out a little bit. So some people, like my brother, will let me do it. Nolan Kazakowski, he always helped me out.
Yeah.
Let me cut his hair, and then eventually started doing the locker room. I remember on my spare, but I didn't get suspended, but I got in trouble the one time.
Which, don't name drop them because I don't want to dox them, but which AP was it, man?
Wait, say that again?
Which AP was it? Assistant
Oh,
principal.
Mr.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
He had a... It was funny because he just had... It's not funny that he had surgery, but he had surgery recently. And then so he was just in like a sling that like the one that like holds your arm like against your body with like a pad on it.
Yeah.
And I forget, someone was taking a video of me cutting the dude's hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I was drawing a male phallus in the side of his head because I was going to shave it off anyways after.
Okay.
And then it's like someone said,
Hey, yo, there's a fat fucking dick in there.
and then you just see the camera points up and the Mr. literally just whips around the corner like this.
What's going on here?
Oh,
He was apparently he was there trying to find vapors.
which was a huge thing.
Oh my goodness, bro. Sometimes people would literally just stand in there while I was cutting someone's hair and vape and just watch me cut hair. I was like, this is kind of weird. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I get it, I'm in the bathroom, but like, just go about your business. You don't have to just like stare at me. Or
Fair
say
enough.
something. Some people would just like watch and then just leave. Like, don't say a word. I don't know who they are. It's like, oh, that's sick, bro, or something. It's like, say something. Like, it's kind of weird, but...
Was there any repercussions from that? Or did they just tell you that you weren't allowed to do it anymore?
So what he said is like, you can't do it in here. So I had to go finish the haircut outside. And
Facts.
this was
That's a funny video.
This was in winter, so there's snow all over the ground. But yeah, like I talked to the gym teachers after, and they said, yeah, we don't care. Like, as long as you're not making a mess, you can go do it. So I went back in business. Because like I had done it like for a month prior, and they had no idea. Like there's no reason for me to like have been like sketched out about it. I'm not doing anything bad.
Right.
It's like, but I don't know why I was always scared they're gonna do something, and eventually they ended up doing something, but then it didn't even matter. Like, it's weird to see how far it came since then. Like, I got basically my own shop down here in my room.
Right. I saw those clippers on your story yesterday.
Yeah, man. Had some old ones, fixed them up. Yeah.
I'm gonna pry a little bit. Matt's brother's name is Josh, and I know that growing up with Josh was super important to you, but before you chime in on that, I also know that you have a nephew who you refer to as your kid that lives in Edmonton that is also very important to you.
Yeah.
So what's it like having a baby in your life, you know?
Well, now there's actually 3. My cousin had twins, like, like 2 years ago. So, like, I've always been around kids because I had another cousin who had a kid when she was living in Calgary when I was in like grade 7.
Right.
So I would take care of her for a while, and then she had another one like a couple years later. So I don't know. It's kind of just always been like in my life, taking care of people, like kids, I guess. It's kind of weird because then it's like sometimes I feel like they're more fun than other people my age because like they don't talk really. They're just doing nothing, and it's just interesting. Like kind of like I took I'm taking psych and shit, so I've been kind of interested in like how like they develop as they go through the years. Like I took a child growth and development course, and it's just like crazy to see like how these kids start as like what they are, coming out as a baby, and then like how like who they're around, what they do, like how their likes are just like form who they are when they become older people, and just even seeing like the way they grew up, how that explains so much about how the way they act now is, you know, like. Single kids versus people who had like a big family, people who grew up with lots of money versus like none. It's like it's super interesting. But then, and especially coming here because you see all these different types of people, but then we're all like in the exact same place now.
Right.
And I find that super fascinating. Like,
no, the nature versus nurture debate is super dope, and I think it's super cool what you just said because you're right. Like, all of the people on this football team that has upwards of 90 people.
we had like 100 at 100. And most schools have even more. Like, bigger schools will definitely have more than 100.
All these people from all these different walks of life, and they can agree on a couple of things. They like football, they want to work their asses off, etc., etc. You know, and they may be different people fundamentally, but like that's one of the great things about sport is it does connect us.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so interesting about humans too in general, like just seeing like how we can find just like a few things that we share in common. We can like connect and then build so much like upon that as well.
Right.
Yeah, like, yeah. It's funny, especially like I've lived with different people most of my years, except for like the last 2 years I lived with like the same group, but just like the way the energy flows in like different houses, it's so funny, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Did you live in residence in first year and then you moved in with different people the however many consecutive years after that?
Yeah, so first year I lived in res alone. I had my own room. I actually was supposed to have a roommate, but like the day I came in early for football and the day everyone was supposed to come in, like I was asleep on the bed. Like this dude came in at 9 a.m, like right when it opened. I see him walk in. I had my eyes slightly open because I was still hungover, so I didn't really want to like interact with him yet. And then I'm just sitting there. He's with like an RA and his parents, and like 3 minutes pass by, and then they just leave. I couldn't hear anything because I was just like croaked, and never came back.
Wow.
So like I just had a double room. I had 2 beds to myself. My res actually had 2 TVs. I had my own bathroom. Like it was amazing.
You finessed the king setup, and all you had to do was get stupid drunk the night before moving.
I'm saying, yeah. The room was actually cleaned up too. I didn't make it a mess or anything. Like, I'm pretty sure he knew he was gonna have a roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing. I kind of wish I did have a roommate. Just because, like, I don't know. Like, I didn't really share, like, I was never... Because everyone has their, like... They always have that special bond with their roommate, you know? It's like you were in the same room. You literally face each other when you sleep kind of shit. Like, that was the one thing I kind of wish I had, but I'm also kind of glad I had my own room at the same time. Because I need my space, I find. Especially now.
Well, like, that's probably one of the people that's going to end up knowing the most about who the real you is, you know? So...
Yeah.
I wouldn't put living with me on any of the people that I love, you know? Like, it's a different circumstance when there's multiple guys who are my age and that's just like what we do. It's our dynamic, but I would never put that on somebody I love. Not right now.
Yeah, that's why that's one thing I'm worried about going back home, because after I'm done here, I'm going to move home for a bit. It's going to be kind of, that's going to be interesting. I find whenever going away for a bit, coming home, it's like, just giving up your independence, man, it really sucks. It sucks. It's like my mom's like, "What are you doing?" I don't know. We're gonna do something. Like, I just don't want to sit in my basement in my room.
I get what you mean. My mom, thankfully, is not like that. But like, just the interest. It's like I know you're not bothered, but it's like I'm 21. Maybe I'm gonna go lay in the field for 3 hours. Who knows?
It's like I don't know exactly. It's just like that's the part of the time, just the journey.
All right. What gets you through your worst days?
I guess meditation has been one. But I find most days I need to like talk to people. I've learned that more about myself. I always thought I am a pretty reserved guy as it is, but I find like I can't always fix myself the way I want to. You know, I kind of need like to talk to people to help me out sometimes, but I don't know. I guess just growing up, I never really did that, so it's kind of like a bad habit, I guess. So I find lately my roommates have been like, as we gotten closer, because I stopped moving around from people, I would actually get closer with these guys, and like I don't know, they help me out a lot. Like I can go to them for advice with anything. That's super important to me. But then also there's times I just need to like get to myself and just I don't know, listen to music. Music's a big thing for me. I'm honestly always plugged in.
Right. Like
anyone always talks to me, especially because I got these new AirPods. I can't hear. I'll be in the kitchen. I'll be like cooking up some food. And then my roommate would literally just like have been yelling my name for like 2 minutes, and he's literally standing behind me as I'm just like chopping onions. He'll tap me on the shoulder and I'll be like, what the fuck did happen? Like, yeah, that's a big thing. And my mom for sure, definitely. When I need to talk to her more, but I don't know. It's just that comfort from home. It's that person that really knows who you are, type of thing. Like you said, it's like. Yeah, we always don't give our parents credit, but they've lived a life too. Even though if my parents grew up like as immigrants from India, it's a different life, but they still like understand like how life is. And it's always been so weird to me to like think of them as people on their own, you know?
Right. I made that realization when I was 19, when I came back after first semester of first year for Thanksgiving, and I was talking to my mom, and I said something out of pocket. And she didn't even get angry about it, but I could tell it was out of place, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This, of course, she's my mother, and like I can talk to her, but she's a human being, and not only that, without her being here, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly. Like, she literally carried us, like, in their belly, like.
Facts.
It's like the mother's love is something different, man. There's nothing that could ever replace that, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even, like, and I find even my dad lately, too, like, I was never really close to my dad, but lately we've been getting a lot closer and just, like, seeing him more as a human. Because, like, my mom was always a super affectionate person.
Right.
My dad never, well, still isn't, but, yeah, like, so for me it was always kind of weird to connect with him. Because usually my most connections with, like, the most time I spend with him would be the weekends when he's teaching me algebra. Like, it's not fun. It's like, I don't enjoy the time with him I was spending when I was a kid, so it's like, it was hard to build that relationship. But now it's like, I see him, like, who he was as a guy. Like, I hear all these stories about him now, because, like, my dad never talks about himself.
Right.
So then lately I've been talking to my cousins about their stories about my dad. I'm like, oh, wow, this guy's, like, not who I thought he was. And I'm just like, wow, I need to, like, know who he is, type of thing. So, like, having that connection, knowing that I have connections now with my family really, like, helps me. Because it makes me feel like I'm not alone in everything that I'm doing, in the shit that I do, or whenever I go through stuff. Like,
right.
That's a big thing. Yeah, and I don't know, I guess I find a lot of times when I'm having a bad day as well, I need to sleep.
Fair. Holy
Because I won't get enough sleep. That's a big thing. I don't sleep enough. And I'm starting to feel that a lot more. I'll actually get a good night's sleep, and I'll be like, today's not going to suck. I'm not, like, angry at everything. It's nice. Like,
yeah. It's honestly the worst thing, man. You don't get enough sleep, and then it's like you walk out of your room and your keys get hooked on the doorknob, and it's like, bro, I'm going to rip this bitch off the hinges. You know what
I'm saying? Like, stubbing your toe right when you get out of bed. Like, that's why I've been meditating when I get out of bed sometimes, so I start the day off very nicely in a good, calm way. And just gives me a chance to wake up a little bit.
One question that I do want to ask you that's related to that and something you said earlier. So since you've seen this shift from being a full-time football player to somebody who is still concerned with their health but isn't competing anymore, do you find yourself getting more frustrated quicker? And do you think it's because you don't have an outlet for all of that energy?
Definitely. I definitely find sometimes I have a short fuse for literally, like, nothing. Like, I come to realize, like, my roommate will leave, like, a dish, like, on the table. And, like, it's not a big deal at all. But I'm just like, dude.
Bro, yeah.
Put the fucking dish away. Like, oh, my gosh. Like, it's not hard. Just rinse it. Like, yeah. Yeah, but definitely, because I find, like, now that I'm not competing or, like, going for something, it's kind of not as fun to work out, you know? It's like I'm just working out to, like, now I'm just trying to get D's, you know, but it's kind of hard because I don't have that, like, thing to work towards, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's like before I'd be like, I'm training to get, like, fast or something. Like, I got football to do. Like, I can show. It's like it shows in more way than one.
Right.
But this is just like I get bigger. I'm sore. I'm like, I'm sore for what? Like, I'm not even faster or anything. I'm just like. And it's not competition. Because I've been playing sports since I was a kid. I guess that competition aspect of it's gone. So it's kind of just me, like, doing it myself, which I'm kind of a lazy person, as is. Right. So it's kind of hard for me to get back, and go to the gym, especially at times when it's not busy. Because the gym here, like, the Good Life here is tiny. There's like 2 squat racks maybe, but then there's like 5,000 people. So like or students at least. There's 5,000 students who want to use. Maybe not all use in the gym, but. It's annoying. So trying to find time then, it's like, oh, I'm busy, I don't want to do this. So yeah, I find that definitely makes me more agitated, for sure. Because like having it in my schedule before, it's like I can't miss it because I'll have to go run and I don't want to run or like face consequences for not working out. But now I don't really have any consequences except for, I guess, the ones that I can like see at least affect me directly. So like, yeah, it's one thing I've been trying to get into like coming back for this year. Trying to start working out more, but we're still trying to get there. So,
well, no, I think one of the biggest things, because speaking from my experience, I'm not too different from you in that respect, Matt. Especially right now, my dad lives an hour and 15 minutes away on the bus from the weight room, and I use the weight room at school because it's a part of tuition, right? Minus 41, and I forgot my snow pants in Calgary. Am I finna take the bus? No. Because those walks in between the bus, like, I'll die, right?
Yeah, for
but
real.
Then again, on the other hand, I see those excuses and I'm like, okay, I'm lacking.
That's
so
the thing,
I think the biggest thing is you got to find something that you enjoy, right? So when I have access to a boxing bag, it doesn't really feel like I'm working out. I'm just fucking having fun. I'm just hitting some, right?
Yeah, that's why I started doing some more intramural sports. Like, I'm on a basketball team. You know, I have to bring the headband back and everything. You know how it is.
People will understand. I've got photos, man. Grade 10 basketball at Aberhart was wild.
I'll put it on record right now. I made the team without trying out. That's a fact. That's a fact.
It could not be me. I remember me, Alex Rosenberg, and one other kid were on the stage, and Nathan's dad comes over and he's like, "What's your name?" to Alex. And Alex is like, "Alex." He's like, "Okay, you can go stand in the middle." And then he comes over to me and the other kid, and he looks at the other kid, and he looks at me, and then he looks at the other kid. He's like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Keaton." He's like, "Okay, you can go stand in the middle." I don't even remember who that kid was, but I was 15 out of 15, family. Thank you very much.
Hey, man, like, I remember I had, because football was right before, like, the season ended, like, the week before tryouts did, and I broke my shoulder. I found out, like, I found out later that I broke my shoulder, apparently.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't try out. Okay, I'm not trying to be, I'm sorry for being cocky, but...
No. It's
I was
okay,
talking my shit, bro, at least, like...
Facts.
And then, yeah, he's like, "So what happened?" And I'm like, "Oh, I made a catch, and I broke my, I hurt my shoulder." And he said, "Can I see the catch?" And I was like, "Yeah." I showed him the video. He said, "Okay, I'll find a spot for you." Like, that's the kind of like Coach Nathan's dad was. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like, unconventional for sure. Yeah.
He was a good guy.
Really good guy. It was just funny. I remember watching him take pictures on the sideline while he's coaching us. Like,
yeah. He's screaming at us from behind the lens. Well, he's not screaming. He's not the type
but he's
of guy
coaching
who's
from
screaming.
behind the lens.
Yeah,
It's so funny. It's like...
Okay, Matt, true or false? Your grade 10 quarterback coach hit you with a stick.
One time, he did. He had this stick. Okay, so, like, his whole thing was keep your elbow high when you throw. Like, keep your arm up, so like this. And then, so what we would do, me and Nolan, we were both the quarterbacks at the time, sit on the ground, and just, like, he'd hold the stick above, like, where you're supposed to throw, and then you have to throw above it. And so that's the stick. That's what the stick was for. And one time, he'd always have this thing about when you hold the ball, you have to have it in two hands or tucked away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of the time, I just have it in one hand, just, like, drooping my arms down. Just, like, I don't know, I wouldn't think of it much. And then he just, like, all of a sudden just took the stick and just smacked me once. Like, I have pads on and stuff, so it didn't hurt, but I was still just, like... Right. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, that caught me off guard for real. He was an interesting dude.
That's super jokes. That's jokes.
Yeah.
So, from the research that I've done, I don't want to go too deep into football if you don't want to go too deep into football. You were a quarterback when we were at Aberhart, but then U-Sport, I assume you're just the size is why you had to change positions because you play mainly receiver?
No. I was actually never a quarterback before high school. I started out I was a receiver. Even at Aberhart, I was a receiver. Like, grade 10, I was the receiver and the backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. But then Nolan was a running back, so he went to running back grade 11. I was still a receiver. But our quarterback got injured, and I was the backup all the time. I was always the backup. That's usually what they do. They always make their, like, best receiver or, like, whoever can throw will be the backup quarterback that also plays offense. Mm-hmm. And then he got injured right before, like, playoffs or something, so then I went in at quarterback. And apparently I turned up, you know how it is. But, of course. But then I guess they realized, like, oh, yeah, we don't need to find a quarterback. Matt will just play quarterback. And I did not want to play quarterback at all. Like, everyone who knew that was on the team that year knows I didn't want to play quarterback. Mm-hmm. Like, in my tape too, I literally just, like, ran all the time. Like, I didn't really throw that much. Like, I was trying to get recruited as a receiver because I remember going into that season, like, St.FX hit me up saying they were interested in me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's dope, but just so you know, I'm gonna play quarterback, so that's my tape for the year. And like, oh, okay. So I'm like, oh, I gotta kind of show that I'm a receiver type, so.
Right.
I just ran all the time. Yeah.
I don't know, man. You've got... the one thing I do remember is that I always had trouble palming a ball. And your hands are smaller than mine, but your fingers are mad long, bro. You could do that with ease, so... Making those catches must be late work
exactly.
sometimes.
I attribute all that to piano, bro. Finger strength. That's all it was.
That's the last thing I have on my list, man. I know that you're a pianist. I know that you go crazy on the keys, bro. So what's that been like?
Like, I took lessons for a year when I was like 5 years old. That's when I started. And then, I don't know what happened, but I just kind of stopped taking lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I had this nice piano that I had, so I'm like, I don't just want to let this go to waste. So I just started like watching videos on YouTube, like how to play like songs and shit. And then, unfortunately, I couldn't take my piano with me when I went to university, so I kind of like stopped playing for a while. Like, there's this one piano outside of the library in town. Mm-hmm. That whenever we're going on the way to the bar, it's like the library's on the way. Mm-hmm. Me and my roommate, who could play piano as well, we would just rip it before, but we were just sauced. It was hilarious. Like, yeah, that was fun. And then like when I got home now recently, I've been getting back into it a lot because I don't know, like I said before, music's a big thing for me, and I've been really getting into like the little like intricate instruments and stuff. Like, I actually just bought a harmonica. Okay. So learning how to play that, but it's hard as hell, man. I can't even play like a singular note. It's like impossible. So yeah, like I've been trying to get more into like playing instruments again, because I realized that's another thing that also like helps me through days. Like I have a little keyboard here too. It's kind of a crappy one, but like even just playing music, it's something else I can focus on. So that's like been a big thing for me lately again. So I've been trying to get back into that, which has been dope lately. But I need to get a piano, like a nice one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you kind of have to wait until you're done there, right?
Yeah, I've seen there's like people sell like or give ones away for free out here, but you have to go and get it and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to. It's a fucking hassle to go grab a piano. So yeah, it's just not worth it at this time. But I guess I'll wait till I get home, put it on again.
So, last question before we move on to the last question of the episode. You're graduating this year or next year?
This year, so I'll be done in May, I guess. That's when my graduation is.
And you are in a Bachelor of Kinesiology, I believe?
It's like a Bachelor of Science with majoring in kines. And I'm minoring in health science as well, yeah. Okay.
And I've seen that you've gotten some experience being an athletic therapist. So what is next for Matthew?
It's a good question for real, but so like I want to go to physio at some point, but I realized I haven't done much, like had much experience like in the field that much. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that I need to do that a little bit more. Like this year, actually, once I quit football, I started helping out in the therapy room at our school with our athletic therapist. So that's been really cool, like seeing people's injuries and like how they treat them, specifically like what the process is. So that's been fun. So once I get home, I'm gonna try and look for a job like being like a therapy assistant or something, and then hopefully this is like fingers crossed if I can do this. But I want to go do my master's in Europe.
Oh.
Yeah, like my friend put me in touch with this girl who went to like St.FX, who's actually studying physical therapy in Holland right now.
Jeez.
Should be like insane, because I really want to travel. I realize I want to have that time, because I used to travel when I was younger. I want to have that experience where I can take it in before I have like responsibilities with like a career and like have to settle down eventually. So yeah, that's what I want to try. So then I feel like if I go to Europe, it's pretty easy to travel within Europe. It may not be very cheap, but yeah, so hopefully I can get there. That's the plan, but I don't know, I wouldn't be too mad. I definitely don't want to come back to Nova Scotia. I realize that for sure. So I don't know, maybe coming back, maybe doing school in Alberta wouldn't be too bad either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's where I'll probably end up, like,
at least for a while.
Yeah, definitely. No.
Honestly, man, all the people who are trying to leave, I get it. And I would like to leave for some point, but I don't know. It was comfortable here, man.
Yeah, exactly. Know? It's like, it's familiar too. And sometimes I just want to like I said, I want to have that peace.
Facts.
They just want to like not have to worry. And it's like, but I don't know. We'll see. It might be like traveling more will make me want to like live somewhere else if I find somewhere that's super dope, you know? Mm-hmm. But then also like a big part of me is like being close to my family. So I don't want to be too far where I'll like never see them, but especially with COVID and everything, it's hard to tell like if anything's really even going to be set. But
true.
Things have been looking more on the up than they did a little bit ago, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Gotta stay positive.
Yeah, for real.
So, Matthew, in the last 6 months and in the coming 6 months, are you particularly worried, or is there anything you're looking forward to in particular when it pertains to your life or life in general?
Well, like I said a little bit before, like I'm kind of worried about moving back in with my parents, just because I'm just been so used to, like, I'm so used to living by myself for like the last 4 years. So that's definitely gonna be not like a worry, but it's gonna be like a thing to adjust to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, but it's not too bad, honestly. And I guess I'm worried maybe if I get into physio or not, because it's pretty competitive,
Right.
as is. So that's kind of a worry. But I'm also looking forward to being done with university, like undergrad at least.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's kind of outgrown it. At least this town. I feel like the town is kind of easy to get sick of. So I'm looking forward to being back in like a bigger city for sure, like Calgary. And I don't know, just having that comfort of having someone take care of me for a little bit will be nice.
Yeah.
Like, I find whenever I go home, it's nice, but it's also like I'm just visiting for the time. I know it's not like a forever thing, but like now it's kind of weird thinking like, oh, I might be home for a while. It's gonna be different. Like, yeah, that's one thing I'm kind of worried about, but not worried at the same time. It's like I'm worried, but also like not.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know you well enough to speak on your relationship with your people, but all I do know is that I can hear what you're saying and relate, and the fact that it's like it'll be nice to go and have a sandwich made.
Dude, if I don't have to go grocery shopping myself, man, like it's a struggle out here. I'll have to go walk there, get someone to pick me up, or I'll even just walk back myself. I don't get too much stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird.
Pockets weren't built to haul a car from Alberta to Nova Scotia, or what?
Nah, bro. Nah, man. Well, me and my brother share a car, or we did, and he took it. Like, he's a doctor, so he needs the car, apparently.
Oh, I'm a doctor. I need the car.
So, like, oh, he needs to go to the hospital. His town is bigger than a kilometer wide, so I can walk everywhere pretty much, but it's, like, sometimes I don't want to walk 30 minutes to go to fucking Superstore.
Yeah. For real. Bro, Camrose was the same way, but I had a vehicle. If I needed to walk to my grocery stores, I never would have got groceries. I would have just kind of died, so.
It's annoying. That's why, I haven't really much this year, but last year, like in third year, my roommate had a set of rollerblades, so I would honestly rip those everywhere. Like, sometimes to class, like to the grocery store, and I'd be just wheeling around in rollerblades, pushing the cart. It'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good. I'd fall a lot. Like, going down hills was not my forte.
No.
I was trying to stop isn't... Oh, damn. Still have scars, to be honest.
So, Matt, you have made it. Congratulations. End of the undergrad. End of the episode.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Thank you for having me. It was actually really nice talking to someone for a while. Like, yeah, it's nice having conversations with people about just life in general, I guess.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, a lot of people, they might not think, because I don't have a metric fuck ton of stories, but those 3 years at Aberhart, man, especially grade 10 and 11, Matt, Nolan, all of those football players and the kids from Valley Creek, we got really close. So it's nice catching up with you guys, man, because you've always been important to me.
Yeah, for real, man. It's really, like, I find it's hard to connect with people once you, like, move away. It's just, you go, like, life is so different for me than, like, someone who stayed at home with their parents or something. Like, we still get along, but it's still just, like, it's kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, around, it's just, like you said, they don't get having to go get groceries by themselves or having to, like, pay bills and shit. Like, yeah. Yeah, man.
Not only that, it's like, bro, your schedules, no matter what you do, just might not align, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, honestly, I have nothing more productive to say, so I want to say thank you to the people that are listening for listening to this episode, sitting with me and Matt for the last however long. Matt, brother, I appreciate you coming on.
Of course, man. Always love talking to you, bro.